One of the hardest things about solo filmmaking, or especially running a YouTube channel like this one, where you need shots of the on-screen talent, which just happens to be you, is to get some nice shots with some dynamic movement. When you're the camera op and you're also the talent on the screen, almost every time your camera ends up on a tripod. I've had this idea of a YouTube intro in my head for ages, and I've been wrestling of how to make this a reality because it's a scene that happens in the bedroom, and I just didn't know how to make it work. But I was watching Danny Gevirtz's latest video and it became super obvious. He created a bed scene, but it was actually on the floor of his studio, and that's what we're gonna do today, and it has made the shoot infinitely more easier. So this shoot is brought to you by Danny Gevirtz.
Thanks, I love you.
So let's take a look at the shot and then we'll have a look at the setup. It doesn't matter how tired I am. When my head hits that pillow, I'm awake. My imagination thinks that that is the most appropriate time to run wild. In these moments, I write songs, I write movies, I solve problems, I recreate historical moments in time. Moments that were so pivotal, they changed how you and I operate today. Moments that I'd love to have been a fly on the wall for.
Not have sexual relations with that.
Or sometimes, I just make up complete nonsense. Either way, strap yourself in. This one's a doozy. So the first thing I did was made the bed on the floor. Now, Rosie won't see this until it goes live on YouTube, so I know that she'd hate it if I put all the bedding on the floor. So what I did, I put down some extra sound blankets to make it a little bit comfier to lie on, but also to keep the bedding nice and clean. Once we had the scene set, then I had to build out a bit of a rig to make this whole thing work. So to start, I needed to use the gripping equipment. I used 2 Kupholes from Kupo. These things are the bomb.com. I don't know if people still say that, but these things are worth every penny. I used 2 of these Kupholes running horizontally from wall to wall. On the Kupo right above my head, I did have a Kupo super clamp. This was attached to one end of the Moser slide pod, which is part of our motion control device used in this shot. Now the slide pod has tripod mounts in 2 different areas, so I did have another C-stand threaded into the bottom section just to give it a little bit of extra stability so it wouldn't move around at all. Jumping over to the second Kupo, I did have a Cardellini, or what Kupo calls a supervisor. This had the Nanlite Forza 720B and my big strip box on there to give that nice golden sunrise light. I know this is meant to be me falling asleep, but I couldn't really do it in pitch black. I didn't think it would look as good, so I was like, screw it, we'll do it as if we were waking up in the morning. Now I wanted to secure the slide pod from the other side as well, so I made some sort of Frankenstein magic arm dual super clamp little contraption. Now that meant the slide pod was also secured to the other Kupole, which meant that no matter what happened, this thing wasn't going anywhere. Now to get the orbiting rotation, I did have the DJI RS2 on the end of the slide pod. Moser actually has their own gimbal that you can clip onto the slide pod and they talk to each other. You can control them from the same app to get dynamic jib shots and all this sort of stuff, but I don't have one of those, so what I had to do was I had one phone controlling the slide pod on an infinite loop. The second phone was controlling the DJI Ronin S2, and that was giving me my orbit. So I had one, just set it, let it forget it, and just let it run back and forth and back and forth. And then on this other one, I had the phone out of shot with my thumb on it, just controlling that joystick really slowly going around and around. This was just a short little video to show you that with some jerry rigging and some ingenuity and a little bit of extra time, you can come out with some pretty awesome shots. For any camera lovers that wants to know what was on the end of the gimbal, we had the Sony a7S III and the 35mm G Master. That's all for today. I just wanted to share this because it can be quite hard to get unique shots on your own, especially in this YouTube day and age where all the bigger channels have separate paid editors and they go out and shoot for them, and that's just not realistic or viable if you're someone like me with my subscriber count and my non-monetized status. I just wanted to share this because I was inspired by Danny Gevirtz's thing, and that got a little ball rolling in my head, and maybe something from this shoot can apply to something you do down the line. Could be completely different, could be the same. Hopefully it allows you to get some awesome shots. Thank you for watching. I hope this helped. No Pressure is the band you should go and listen to. Speaking of No Pressure, you should subscribe. All right, bye.